is ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Prime Time News. I am Gift Ogete. In our top stories, former Edo State Governor John Odigye Oyegun emerges new APC chairman as the leading opposition party vows to wrest power from the PDP at the center. Also in this program, organized labor throws weight behind Kaude Fayemi ahead the 21st governorship election in Ekiti State. Still on Ekiti, INEC Army clear air over doubts generated by seized truck with voting materials in the state. And outside Nigeria, Afghans defy threats by Taliban to vote in second-round presidential election. It's good to have you join us again. Now details of the news headlines and other stories. After a long day and night at the Eagle Square, the new APC chairman John Odigye Oyegun was finally declared elected at about 10 a.m. on Saturday. Speaking afterwards, Odigye Oyegun assured party members of his readiness to provide visionary leadership for the party ahead of the 2015 general elections.
I am humbled by the great honor you have conferred on me and the sacred trust that you have reposed on me. And with extreme humility, I accept this responsibility. We have undertaken to lead this party into the next phase of its evolution and onwards thereafter to the fulfillment of its destined mission as the liberator of the Nigerian people. This is a heavy responsibility, but I assure you, it is a responsibility we are not taking lightly. Nigerians have been frustrated by the fact that there was no alternative national party comparable in strength to rescue them from the clutches of the PDP. Today, I want to say to Nigerians, your wait is over. Your prayers have been answered. Help is on the way. The APC has arrived. In 2015, the All Progressives Congress will provide Nigerians with visionary, dedicated, and people-oriented leadership that will liberate the nation from the clutches of the PDP's rule of poverty and oppression.
Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of members of the All Progressives Congress spent the night at the Eagle Square to see about 6,000 delegates elect new party officials. Not even the downpour could dampen the mood of party faithfuls as APC's inaugural national convention. Pius Samuel reports.
All roads in Abuja seem to lead to the city center on Friday night, where the long-awaited APC National Convention was taking place. The atmosphere outside the Eagle Square could best be likened to a carnival. It was also not different inside the arena. But when it was time for speeches, the party leaders were businesslike.
2011, we have remained resolved to make sure that this country that we have helped to build, nobody should completely destroy it. Enough destruction has been done. Stand firm, vote for APC, let's get this country moving again.
You become part of a common sense revolution. And that common sense revolution is to fight insecurity, mismanagement, unemployment, hopelessness, and abduction of our children. Failure of a government, a president, this won't stop on the desk of the president. For our children, 250 and more of them to still be in captivity is a shame to all of us, but the biggest failure of ineptitude, incompetency, and a failure of good government.
It was also a time for outgoing chairman Bisi Akonde to say goodbye. He used the opportunity to lash at the ruling PDP and give an insight into what to expect from an APC government at the center.
Nigeria is today a subject of some form of global assistance after it was apparently overwhelmed by security challenges. As I speak, personnel and equipment from a global coalition that includes the United States, the United Kingdom, Israel, and the United Nations are in our country, assisting us to rescue the over 200 school girls.
The Eagle Square was fully occupied, and that was because there was little or no restriction. So, these party members had to sit on the ground. In the run-up to the convention, the chairmanship position was a 3-horse race, but Tom Ikimi was eased out. He reacted by shunning the convention, while Temipre Silva publicly declared support for John Oyegu. There was also consensus in the choice of National Secretary and Publicity Secretary, but in spite of this, elections still had to go on for several other positions. And under the watchful eyes of INEC, officials and security operatives, voting commenced at about 12:54 a.m. Some delegates who spoke to CoreTV News were optimistic that the convention is coming at the right time.
To support APC, our new party, as a result of a merger of 3 parties, 3 major parties in Nigeria, which has never happened in the history of politics in the entire world.
Time in the history of this nation, 5 governors of a ruling party defected into a new party. For the first time in the history of this party, this country, over 37 members of the House of Representatives, close to 20 senators defected, to a new party. My brother, this is an idea whose time has come.
APC faithfuls are also hopeful that after scaling through its first major test, the party is on track to giving the ruling party its biggest electoral challenge since 1999. As 2015 general elections approaches, Nigerians require good leadership no matter the party affiliations of the candidates.
As over 8,000 delegates cast their vote at the APC National Convention here in Abuja, political watchers are waiting to see if the party will bring the desired change during the 2015 general elections. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In a related issue, the presidency has congratulated the All Progressives Congress for its ability to hold a successful convention. It says that the national officers who were elected at the party's national convention emerged at a critical time when the nation was preparing for elections. The special advisor to the president on political matters, Ahmed Al-Khali, who stated this in a statement, charged the APC's National Executive Committee, led by its national chairman, John Oyegu, and other members of the Executive Committee, to put the interest of the nation first in whatever they do. He added that President Goodluck Jonathan has laid solid foundation for conduct of free, fair and credible polls in the country, and all hands must be on deck to ensure the people of Ekiti State are allowed to exercise their right to elect their leaders without hindrance. As the June 21st Ekiti governorship election gets closer, organized labor across the country has endorsed the second-term ambition of Governor Kayode Fayemi. The unions led by the national administrative organ of the Nigeria Labour Congress did the endorsement at the Solidarity rally held in Ado-Ekiti. Rashid was there. He filed in this report.
The organized labor led by the Central Working Committee of the Nigeria Labour Congress had in attendance the leadership of the trade unions across the country. Nigeria Labour Congress President Abdul Wahid Omar says it is imperative to support the cause of Fayemi due to his antecedents in labor movement.
And we can always identify with people who identify with the movement, particularly those who have diligently served the movement in different capacities. Your Excellency, I do know that your antecedents in labor movement in struggle are not something that are hidden. And therefore, if we choose to identify openly with you, it is because we have every cause to do that.
Fayemi expressed gratitude to the labor leaders and vowed to represent very well the movement that prepared him for leadership in all spheres.
Most critical reason why your presence here speaks volume is for people to know that leadership is not accidental. My partisanship is an extension of my activism. It's not a substitute. It is all encapsulated in our own ideological orientation. That power and politics is about people.
The endorsement rally later moved to the Oluyemi Kayode Stadium. This time, the NLC national leadership was not there. The Ekiti State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress were, however, at hand to assure Fayemi of his second-term ambition.
Not only for the adoption of Governor Kayode Fayemi for second term, but an avenue to demonstrate to the outside world that Governor Fayemi and the entire workers in Ekiti State are partners in progress.
Fayemi, you have my support and the support of my people. Thank you very much.
With the June 21st governorship election barely a week away, political watchers are waiting to see the outcome of this endorsement. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The INEC resident electoral commissioner in Ekiti State, Aliyu Pai, has cleared the air on the origin and destination of a truck arrested with electoral materials during the week in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. He insisted that the content of the vehicle are the commission's obsolete materials. He also decries comments credited to the commander of the army detachment drafted to oversee security during the election, Aliyu Momo, indicating that the materials in the vehicle were dated 2014. Rashid monitored the latest twist from Ado-Ekiti. He files in this report.
The interception of the Lagos-bound truck on Thursday at Itaure and the dismissal of the materials as obsolete by INEC and claims by the military commander who arrested the truck indicating that some 2014 materials were found in the truck is now eliciting reactions. Commenting on this development, the INEC resident electoral commissioner in Ekiti State, Aliyu Pai, explained that the truck contained the only waste product of the electoral body.
You have this as INEC stamp, and you have this as stamps that is currently in use. And what is curious about this issue is that you cannot claim that 2014 stamp is a waste material.
We only received the stamps that would be used for the 2014 election on the 13th, that is just yesterday. In other words, as at the time that that truck was intercepted, we have not even received the stamps.
Stressing the fact that the materials found in the truck were indeed obsolete, Ekiti INEC unveils aprons which will be used in the forthcoming election, as the resident electoral commissioner also announced that the chairman of the INEC and the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Abubakar, are due to arrive Ekiti on next Wednesday alongside the sensitive materials to be used for the poll.
The sensitive materials will come next week. The chairman of the commission, Professor Atahiru Mohamed Jega, will be coming for the final stakeholders meeting on 18th, Wednesday 18th this month. The Inspector General of Police is also expected to be there.
The fears nursed by the electorate over the credibility of the forthcoming election were also laid to rest, as the resident electoral commissioner assured all of INEC's neutrality.
We do not have any preferred candidate or political party, and we have no reason whatsoever to compromise with anybody. We want to achieve a free, fair, and credible election, and therefore appeal to all the stakeholders in this state to play the game according to the rules of the game.
Although Ekiti State has 2,195 polling units, the resident electoral commissioner reveals that the figure has increased to 2,803 polling cubicles due to the largeness of some polling units. This, he added, is to enhance smooth voting system. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
With less than 3 months to the Osun State governorship poll, the State Police Command has assured that adequate steps will be taken to ensure a hitch-free election. The command arrested 2 suspected armed political thugs at one of the campaign rallies in the state. Bidokoro in Osogbo has more.
The Osun State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected political thugs. The arrests were made at one of the recent campaign rallies in the state. At the time of their arrest, some dangerous weapons and local charms were reportedly found on them. The Osun Police Command Public Relations Officer, Folashade Odoro, gives insight into how the arrests were made.
So our men were there that day doing their visibility policing before they sighted the suspects. And during this course, they were searched, and all the dangerous weapons were found in their vehicle and also in their trousers.
According to Odoro, further investigations is still being carried out to determine the level of complicity of both men.
Diligent investigation will be carried out, and if they are found guilty, they will be charged to court to face the music.
The Special Assistant to the State Governor on Security Affairs, Kunle Amos, buttressed the need for the ongoing investigations by the police.
But we are trying to see the authenticity of what they were actually going to use the cutlass for and all that. So investigation is still ongoing. They are still just suspects until it's determined and investigated that they are actually culprits. You can't say precisely whether they are offender or not.
The command spokesman Folashade Odoro confirms the readiness of the police to adequately handle the state's governorship election come August 9.
According to the Inspector General of Police Transformation Agenda on visibility policing, we are fully on ground. We've strategized all our men that during this electioneering period, we are not going to take it lightly with anyone found with any offensive weapons.
With preparations for the August 9 election in Osun State heating up by the day, will police assurance of providing security before and during the election be solely relied on? Events in the very near future will reveal this to us. Bid Okoro, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
Reactions to a refusal by Sudanese government to grant Nigeria's request for the extradition of the mastermind of Nyanya bomb blast in Abuja. Find out what lawyers are saying after this time out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel. P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Come June 21, it will be decision day for the people of Ekiti. 18 candidates are gunning for one seat.
I am the next governor of Ekiti.
But the people will have the final say.
I know that tolerance has a very big place.
Join extensive coverage of the election and get up to the many details as development unfolds.
I'm the voice of Ekiti people.
With expert analysis from the best political team on television.
And that's honesty of INEC.
Join us all day June 21 to find out who emerges the next governor of Ekiti State.
We have agreed to move this state forward.
Keep a date with us on CoreTV News. You can also watch us live on our website on www.coretvnews.com, a 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, people's parliament from the national, state and local government assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Good to still have you. Stay tuned. This is Core TV Prime Time News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/CoreTVNews. You can also follow us on Twitter, is at Core TV News NG. Also on YouTube, it's www.youtube.com/CoreTV/News. Comments by former President Olusegun Obasanjo that the federal government is not supporting his negotiation with Boko Haram for the freedom of the abducted girls has been generating controversy. A lawyer, Tunde Kolawole, and a lecturer at the Yaba College of Technology in Lagos, Olufemi Akinshola, admonished the federal government to be supportive of all moves to bring back the girls.
Whether the outcome of his negotiation is going to be binding or useful is a different. He could go ahead if the federal government don't give their consent to do the negotiation. What use will the outcome of the negotiation be if he doesn't have a binding effect, if he doesn't have the consent of the federal government? Because by and large, when you are negotiating with people, is a trade by barter thing. Absolutely, like since he has put it on the pages of the newspaper, if I were Mr. President, Goodluck Jonathan, I will give him my consent. I will give him the authority to go ahead and negotiate with the Boko Haram. Also on the pages of the newspaper, like he has said, since he's put it on the rooftop now, so I will also do the same thing, because at the end of the day, if anything untoward happens to those girls, and Obasanjo is already sounding that warning that most of the girls are never likely to return back to us, then the president will be blamed that I was somebody who gave us an opportunity to really get these girls back, and Mr. President turned a blind eye or a deaf ear and a non-smelling nose to the request to negotiate with the Boko Haram.
Since he has offered himself on a platter of gold free of charge to the government to do the negotiation, it will just be a wise thing for the government to grant him that request. Let him negotiate on behalf of the government with the Boko Haram, and if the agreement or the terms of the agreement is good to the government, they implement it.
For Akinshola, the refusal of Nigeria's extradition request by Sudan to have the alleged mastermind of the Yanya bombing, Aminu Sadiq Oguche.
Irrespective of international treaty and agreement with French government, that all the French territory during the colonial era will support Nigerian government in the battle against insurgency. So that this government now said they are not going to be party to it. It may be a reflection of the attitude of Nigerian government to the president of Sudan when he ran to Nigeria for assistance when he wanted to be tried by the ICC.
Meanwhile, legal practitioners have described the refusal by the Sudanese government to grant Nigeria's request to extradite the mastermind of the Yaya bomb blast in Abuja to political, which is likely to lead into a diplomatic feud if not properly managed. One of them says the refusal only boils to lack of healthy relationship between both countries and the class of religious affiliations involved in the case.
To some extent, the Sudanese government are actually trying to frustrate the federal government's effort. But you don't just send delegates to a country and ask for extradition of an accused person when you really don't even have a treaty with that country. You remember, Sudan does not have an extradition treaty with any country in the world. And so, knowing fully well, with that at the back of your mind, I expect our diplomat to know this. The basic things they asked for, from what we gathered also, are, one, they needed the charge sheet to actually confirm that this man you are asking for had been charged for an offense. And if been charged for an offense, see this offense has been charged for, these are the ingredients of the offense. And this is, you know, actually the act. And then you now begin, it is from there you now begin to ask for extradition if you establish your claim, mostly especially when, you know, you don't have a signed treaty with that country.
On his part, Justice Ugwebu says the development has again proves the political foundation in touch with the insurgent and warned that conflict might ensue.
That you cannot hand over, which means the diplomatic relationship there is not working. The UN relationship there is not working. The African Union relationship there is not working. And such thing might lead to war between a country and a country.
Lagos Governor Babatunde Fashola says the ability of states in the Federation to enforce their laws is critical to taming the rising trend of domestic violence, especially against women and children. Fashola said this while receiving executives of the National Association of Women Judges who paid him a courtesy call. The governor also identified state police as essential to enforcing existing laws against women.
If we really mean to protect women and to protect children, one of the biggest and first steps that we must take is to create an enforcement capacity, whatever you like and call it, and give them jurisdiction. So they don't need guns, they don't need weapons to gather evidence, to listen to children, to take evidence, to apprehend offenders, to take descriptions of what happened, take samples of what may potentially become evidence in court, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, the laws do not take us as far as we want to go, and we must give the laws some spine.
Today is World Blood Donor Day, a day which is always celebrated the entire world over. According to the World Health Organization, 800 women die every day from pregnancy and childbirth-related complications. Severe bleeding is the cause of 34 of maternal deaths in Africa. Because of these statistics, the theme for 2014's World Blood Donor Day is Save Blood for Saving Mothers. In Lagos, medical experts say the campaign will increase awareness about why timely access to safe blood and blood products is essential to prevent maternal deaths.
It's so much importance and it's a significant day in the sense that there are patients, there are people that need blood for survival. Let's say due to their health issues. Some people have health challenges that has led to reduction in their blood level, understand, and getting someone to donate for them might be difficult, understand, but if you have people that voluntarily donate their blood, beside the donation thing, there is blood reservoir, blood bank. So once we get this blood, we keep them in blood banks for the time of need. So it's a form of life-saving program, and it's very significant.
So blood donation, and it's just a day every year. It's so bad that when we have to treat patients, sometimes you know what to do, but sometimes the fact that you don't have the resources, at your disposal, that hampers your treatment or whatever medical knowledge that you have as a doctor. So what transfusion day or what blood day is just to let people know, especially people that are ignorant about this fact, what it's about, and just it's every year so that we keep telling them till everybody gets the message.
You're watching CoreTV Prime Time News. We'll take another break. When we return, it will be time for business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Come June 21, it will be decision day for the people of Ekiti. 18 candidates are gunning for one seat.
I am the next governor of Ekiti.
But the people will have the final say.
I know that tolerance has a very big place.
Join extensive coverage of the election and get up to the many details as development unfolds.
I'm the voice of the Ekiti people.
With expert analysis from the best political team on television.
And that's honesty of INEC. Without
Join us all day June 21 to find out who emerges the next governor of Ekiti State.
We have agreed to move this state forward.
Keep a date with us on CoreTV News. You can also watch us live on our website on www.coretvnews.com, a 24-hour news station.
CoreTV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV Prime Time News. Now to business. The Institute of Capital Market Registrars, ICMR, says unclaimed dividends in the nation's purse have reached 50.94 billion naira as of December 31st, 2013. The chairman of Council ICMR, Bayo Olugbemi, who made the disclosure in Lagos at a news conference, says the figure represented 5.05% of the total dividends declared in the past 10 years. He added that the current level of unclaimed dividends is a significant improvement compared with past years. According to him, efforts made by regulators and registrars have helped to reduce the level of unclaimed dividends in the nation's capital market. Banks and regulators in Africa have been urged to evolve regulatory and legal frameworks to ensure that functioning thrived. The Vice President, African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, Benedict Orama, made the appeal in Lagos at a one-day seminar entitled Factoring in Africa, Legal and Regulatory Environment. According to him, Afreximbank introduced factoring because of its importance as an instrument used to boost intertrade businesses in Nigeria and for it to be understood and available. Moreover, factoring is an essential instrument that helps to finance the activities of small and medium enterprises in international and local trades. Saudi Arabia has suggested OPEC meets just once a year rather than twice, a sharp reduction from the days when the group met for up to 7 times a year in the early 2000s. OPEC meetings since year 2012 have produced no policy change and striking with its production target of 30 million barrels per day. The biggest consumer, the United States, is experiencing an oil boom and prices comfortably anchored around $110 a barrel. Other countries have rejected the idea of meeting once in a year, and the next gathering is scheduled for November 27th this year. OPEC's actual production month by month has fallen below 30 million barrels per day since January 2012 and risen as high as 31.75 million barrels per day. And now to sports. President Goodluck Jonathan wants the Super Eagles to recreate the nation's image by working hard to win the 2014 World Cup. This was the thrust of the goodwill message delivered by the leader of the federal government delegation, Senate President David Mark, to the team in Sao Paulo, Brazil. President Jonathan describes the Super Eagles as Nigeria's greatest unifying factor in the face of its current national challenges. He added that they cannot afford to disappoint the nation. Responding on behalf of the officials, Coach Stephen Keshi told the Senate President to assure President Jonathan that the team will make Nigeria proud. Earlier, team captain Joseph Yobo told delegation that playing for the nation confers a huge responsibility on the team, while noting that the Eagles would make Nigeria proud. Colombia made an impressive start to their Group C campaign as an early Pablo Amero strike set them on a way to a comfortable win over Greece. The Napoli defender rode in Juan Cuadrado's 5th-minute cutback, Teofilo Gutierrez leading Colombia's attack in the absence of the injured Radamel Falcao, then touched in from a James Rodriguez corner after the break. Gekas headed Greece's best chance against the bar before Rodriguez steered in a late third. It was a very solid showing from Colombia, who are looking to progress beyond the last 16 of a World Cup for the first time. And now to Afghanistan, where Afghans defied Taliban threats to vote in a second-round presidential election as US-led combat troops wind down a 13-year war that has failed to defeat the insurgents. The early hours of voting were largely peaceful, though officials say a Taliban rocket hit a polling station in the eastern province of Logar, killing 2 voters, while 2 rockets exploded near Kabul airport, causing no casualties. The run of election will decide whether former Foreign Minister Abdullah Abdullah or ex-World Bank economics Ashraf Ghani leads the country into a new era of declining international military and civilian assistance. President Hamid Karzai is due to step down after ruling the country since 2001, when a US-led offensive ousted the Taliban regime for sheltering al-Qaeda militant behind the 9/11 attacks. A smooth handover in Afghanistan's first democratic transfer of power would be a major achievement for the international efforts to establish a functioning state after the depredation of the Taliban era. In the first-round vote in April, the insurgent failed to launch a single high-profile attack, and voter turnout was more than 50%. But the stakes were high on Saturday, with the Taliban issuing specific threats to target polling stations and widespread fears that electoral fraud could produce a contested result. On the eve of the runoff, UN head of mission John Kirby issued a stark warning to candidates' supporters not to resort to the ballot box stuffing that marred the 2009 election when Karzai retained power. Both candidates cast their ballot in Kabul before dipping a finger in ink to register that they had voted. Esta Omar Douadzai, ethnic friction is also a concern, as Abdullah's support is based among the Tajik majority and other northern tribes, while Ghani is a Pashtun Afghanistan's largest ethnic group, which is strongest in the Taliban heartlands of the south and east. Karzai, who is constitutionally barred from a third term in office, has fulfilled his pledge not to interfere in the election, in public at least, though he is tipped to retain influence after handing over power. And that's our show for tonight. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gefta Gete, wishing you a very good night rest. Good night.